In France, we like to say if it's a man or woman.
Right, okay.
And sometimes, they even like men in France to call women le. So you see how strange we are.
Eiffel Tower with Oliver G.
Eiffel Tower listeners, welcome to a new show where we try and figure out France with the help of a special guest every week. And these guests can be anything from cooks to comedians, TV presenters to tour guides. But this week we have something different. We have one of the mayors of Paris. We have Christophe Girard, the mayor of the 4th arrondissement of Paris, an openly gay father of 2, a winemaker and an expert on Japanese poetry. Monsieur le maire, welcome to Eiffel Tower.
Thank you. I love the Eiffel Tower and I love your radio.
Thank you very much for being a guest on the show. Firstly, a question that I think a lot of people would have for a mayor is, what does a mayor in Paris actually do?
Well, it goes from little details to make sure your area, your district is clean enough always, despite, when people throw their cigarettes on the
and that's a big
sidewalk.
That's
and
a big problem for Paris, no?
Yeah, it's a big problem because people are not always clean. They make Paris dirty. But, many don't do that. And many in the coffee shops, like Le Peloton, for instance, they know how to put ashtrays.
Is that the Peloton Cafe with the guys that we had on very recently on the show, actually?
Exactly. Great guys and creative and Paris lovers. So they respect, the city and they want Paris to be clean. But, okay, so it goes from these kind of details to actually much bigger things, like the opening of this new wonderful park called River Seine.
And this is the park on the right bank of the river.
Right, which used to be for 3 kilometers, 0.3, highway speed road.
Right.
So like a freeway, like in Los Angeles. And
but not anymore.
Not anymore. And yesterday, I shouldn't say yesterday.
We can say yesterday.
Okay.
These guys will figure it out.
So last Sunday, our mayor, Anne Hidalgo, so she's the boss of us, the 20 mayors.
She's the mayor of the mayors, right?
She's the mayor of the mayors. That's
right.
that's the way I call her. And then in French, it's funny because mayor, mayor is mère, and mère can be mother.
Right.
So you can play with it.
Oh, French love to play on words, don't they? Le
Yes.
maire de maire.
Le maire, oui, right. And goes with the sea and the ocean. Sometimes kids ask me, but you're not my mother?
Yeah, right.
I said, no, I'm not your mother, it's correct. And yes, but why do you call yourself ocean?
Right. So the word maire means sea, mother, and maire.
Right.
Confusing language.
Good language.
Great.
It's good to be in confusion in life.
Speaking of language, though, Monsieur le Maire, I've got to ask you: do everyone calls you Monsieur le Maire?
Monsieur le Maire, yeah, that's the way.
Which literally means Mr. the Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Well, why do they say le? Why not just
Le
Monsieur
Maire?
Maire?
Monsieur Mayor, Mr. Mayor. In France, we like to say if it's a man or woman.
Right. Okay.
And sometimes, they even like men in France to call women le. So you see how strange we are.
So it could be Madame le Maire, right?
Well, and it shouldn't be.
It is, right.
Because women want to be named as feminine gender.
Right, of course.
So, but let me finish to the first question. So the answer is, it goes from details of making sure that people park correctly in the right spots, that people respect, the fact that the city has to be clean for yourself and for others. And it goes to large projects and inauguration like the one we had Sunday, April 2nd, for the reopening of the right bank of the Seine River, which is actually part of international landmark, of universal landmark.
A UNESCO heritage.
UNESCO, yeah, right, heritage. So frankly, when you saw the variety and the mixity of people attending, all generations, all origins, it was wonderful, to see kids playing, to see people just walking, to see troubadour, I call them, guys and girls playing guitar, and it was wonderful.
And this is a permanent thing now?
Yeah, it is.
This is here to stay.
Oh, yes.
So just if you've never been to Paris, and you're listening here, this is the bank of the River Seine, just like on the left bank, which is open to pedestrians.
Mm-hmm.
The cars have been kicked off now,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's just another park for...
Right, and people who have a car, they're very intelligent, because they understand, it was very strange that in 67, so for 50 years, actually it was a highway, speedway, to go across Paris. And actually it was not to go straight from one point to the other, from Porte de Saint-Cloud, Bois de Boulogne, to Porte de Vincennes, Bois de Vincennes. No, you had to make a circle. So actually you were making more kilometers, more miles, to go from one point to the other. So it's quite logical that a Seine, a river like the Seine River could be actually visited quietly by whoever wants to walk, along the river, any time and any hour. So this is now the case. And in 5 years, even maybe before, people will say, my God, was it different before? It looks like it has always been.
And what, they're going to add more grass and stuff down there?
Be more grass, more trees, more activities, sports, culture, and even if there is nothing, just, walking, wandering, promenade, is just fine. We are in such an hectic world, of, information, Twitter, Facebook, everything is so crazy and so speedy, so rapid, we need to have some space, our bodies, our souls have not changed so much in terms of limits.
Sure.
So we need to go back to our own dimensions,
Sometimes it's nice to go for a 25-minute walk with a nice radio show in your ear, listen to something relaxing,
Yes.
like a mayor talking about Paris. Tell me a bit, may I call you Christophe?
Yeah, sure, it's my
Okay.
first name.
Yeah, you get nervous with the whole Monsieur le Maire
No,
thing.
no, it's fine. You don't have to call me Monsieur or President or Chairman of what you want. No,
Christophe, tell me a bit about this office. It's a very beautiful office with perhaps the highest ceilings I've ever seen in a building in my life. What is that? That's like
It's very high.
4 meters at least.
Oh, yes.
Surely.
It's about more than 2 times you.
Easily, maybe
Yeah.
5 meters.
Yeah.
So this must be a nice place to spend your
It's
days.
a nice place to work and to welcome people and to try to make very good for the city. And when you look at the pictures, so you have an old picture of the former mayor, Bertrand Delanoë, elected in 2001. Next to him, Anne Hidalgo, the new mayor today, myself, and we were actually in front of my city hall here, on the square, Place Baudoyer, addressing a rally I organized by actually internet when the law for equal rights for marriage was passed in Parliament. So it was in May 2003.
So this is for gay marriage, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for marriage for same-sex couples. And we were addressing, the huge crowd that came. It was great, was so joyful and happy. And then you have views of great places in Iraq and in Lebanon, in Syria, which have been destroyed by terrorism and by really savages. Then you have a letter from, I think it's an ambassador, maybe an American ambassador.
That's the one that's next to the small...
Yeah, we will check. I'm
The
not
Queen
sure.
of England.
No, you know what it is? A letter from Justin Trudeau.
Trudeau.
Actually, to whom I sent that picture on the right, where you see me on the right, and a lady with a long red dress, and Pierre Trudeau, his father, in tuxedo, both of us, in Montreal in 1981, at the Fine Arts Museum of Montreal for a charity. So I sent Justin Trudeau, when he was elected Prime Minister of Canada, the picture of his father, and he answered me a very nice letter, very kind.
He seems like a lovely man.
He's a very nice
Is
man.
that you on the right there of that picture that you're talking about? On the right?
Yeah.
The one,
it's
the
me on
man with all the
right.
hair.
Well, yes, and Trudeau with no hair.
Yeah, right.
And above you have my contribution for the Rabin Park in Israel, when he was assassinated.
Sure.
Then under you have a picture where I was at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in December 1983 with Yves Saint Laurent. I was working for him at the time. I was like his assistant.
It feels like a walk through
It's
your
nice.
life by looking
And
at
that's a great thing, the certificate
What is that?
of being citizen, the blue one,
Ah, yes.
citizen of the world,
Ah, wow.
certificate, you know.
Which is important now.
Yeah, more than ever.
Let's talk a bit about the equal rights gay marriage thing, because that was huge for France and still is. And you yourself, you're a gay married man
Yes.
in France. That's brilliant that France has pushed that law. How are the French people reacting to it today? I mean, I know that there is still a bit of people who are against it and sometimes march, but in general,
To be honest, most people realized that they have in their families, you know, cousins, nieces, nephews, or neighbors who actually are gay and who decided to get married. So it's always, you know, the reality that makes you change. It's the unknown subject that creates fear. But whenever you're more familiar with subject you don't know, you change completely. So this is exactly what's happening now with people who are getting married and the people who were in opposition. I'm not talking about the radicals who are in opposition, because for them it has to be a man and a woman, and usually they are religious people. So for them a marriage doesn't exist as a law, it exists in front of God. So that's for these people something maybe impossible. But for the others who believe in the law and equal rights, you know, I don't think it's a problem anymore, honestly.
it's a
frankly.
no-brainer. What's the big deal, really?
Well, it's no,
Yeah.
like my eldest son says, what the point?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not your business.
But you're a bit different in that you have children from a previous
Yeah.
marriage. So is that a confusing thing?
No, it's not confusing. First of all, I was married, but I didn't have a child with the women I married, but I had 2 children with 2 friends of mine. So actually, my kids were not really, you know, issued in the traditional, I would say, frame of being married with a woman and having children with a woman. Not the women I had kids with were not my wives, the friends.
Interesting. That's a new one.
Yes.
But there are other. I mean, you're the former mayor of Paris, Bertrand
Delanoë,
was also a
openly gay,
politician,
absolutely.
and obviously helped push through these changes.
Well, all of us, you know. I grew up in west of France, in a very beautiful area of France, you know, where you have castles,
Whereabouts?
churches, Angers, Saumur, Angers, so the wine, the food is excellent, and culture is very important, education, and the beauty of the gardens and so on. And then I studied in Paris, and then Japan and San Francisco. So I really, you know, grew up with the changing world in the right places. So for me, you know, it's natural to be like the world is. You know, I don't want to be isolated and narrow-minded. I like what's different from me. I don't like what's like me.
Yeah, right. And I think, as I see it in Paris today, a lot of young people are doing what you've done, traveling around the world and bringing back sort of their ideas and cultures. And from what I understand, France didn't used to be very like that. People, or am I wrong, perhaps?
Well, you have this bit of arrogance sometimes in
French
France,
people.
which is 2 ways of being French. Sometimes it's because French can be very shy. And also it's because of the past. You know, French, we have the burden of Louis XIV, Napoleon, de Gaulle, the castles. We like to call things we make grand, train à grande vitesse, la très grande bibliothèque. We like the word grand, grandeur. It's a bit of our history, you know. So, but when French relax, really, it's a wonderful country with wonderful people. And we have really, you know, an history of welcoming refugees, which is what I do here in the City Hall. You know, when they come to learn French, when they come to be helped by lawyers to fill up their papers, you know, as refugees. So this is in our culture and education. So whenever, there are bad examples of people who behave wrong and who are racist or intolerant, it's not the majority. The majority of French people are really nice, soft, educated people who love others and who are interested in traveling and sharing.
I can agree with that based on my 2 years here.
Where were you born?
I was born in Australia.
I know, Australia,
So
I know.
Melbourne,
Melbourne, wonderful.
Victoria, yeah.
Because I lived a bit in Adelaide
Okay.
sometime.
It's unusual for people
Yes.
to even go to Adelaide, to be honest. It's very isolated.
Adelaide, well, nice wine. And I actually ran at the inauguration of the bank with Anne Hidalgo into one of my cousins. She's from Perth.
That's where I lived there.
Okay, well,
Perth
she's
is where
from
I'm
Perth, Henriette, and she was actually visiting the banks, and we discussed. She's married with one of my direct cousins,
Oh, wow.
who is a doctor, and so I could introduce her to Anne Hidalgo, who herself has actually family in Perth.
Oh,
So you see, we're close to you.
Perth is literally the most isolated city in the world. You have to fly.
Yeah, but it's a great city.
Oh, it's a beautiful city.
I saw the mayor of Perth when I was in Nanjing, a big picture there.
Yep, I see.
With the traditional Chinese uniform for conference.
You have a picture of everything here.
Well, pictures of my life, and pictures of people I admire also.
Yeah.
A picture with Anne Hidalgo on the Brooklyn Bridge, a picture made by a friend of mine, great artist, of David Hockney.
I see, yeah.
Pictures of a nice letter of Henri Dutilleux, the musician who died.
And there's a caricature, a drawing of you. That's your Twitter profile picture as well. I
It's from
recognize.
Plantu.
Yeah, okay.
Plantu, who makes, Le Monde,
Of course, newspaper.
caricatures, and an advertising I did when I was a student in Japan to earn money, which is in the Shukan Post, which is a weekly magazine, where I make the advertisement of gin tonic.
Oh, wow.
And a picture with President Holland when he came to visit La Garde Républicaine, where a child told the president, a child from a school, said, "Mr. President, I know him," showing me.
Right.
So I was, of course, expecting that the girl would say, he's the mayor of the district. He said, "No, I know him, he's the Pope." So the president turned to me and he said, "Now you should admit that you're the Pope. Don't hide it anymore. People know it."
So you're the Pope from Paris.
I was the Pope in the district for the little girl,
Right. Oh.
And it was so cute, because there were TVs and I think Canal Plus made a little thing about it. It was so funny. Little girl, I know him. He's the Pope.
It's hilarious. Tell me, Christophe. You mentioned someone throwing cigarettes before.
Yeah.
This is something I see a lot in Paris. And when I was coming here on my scooter, someone next to me threw a cigarette out his window onto the ground.
An old habit.
What's the best thing to do? I assume it's to leave it alone.
Well, because sometimes people can be very aggressive. But sometimes what I do, they do it, I pick it up, and I tell the person, I say, I don't want to be rude, offensive, or aggressive to you. Just want to tell you it's much better if you put it just 5 meters away, in the garbage can. On top of it, you have an ashtray. So we actually deployed many in Paris. So the people usually, when they see my smile, if they know me in the district or in Paris, then they would smile. And some say, "Fuck off."
Yeah.
And others, majority say, "Oh, sorry, it's an old habit. You're absolutely right. I'm very sorry." But you do it with smile.
Do you know what you might like? I didn't plan to tell you this, but I've come up with a system for anti-pollution, and it's the +1 point system. Every time I see a bit of rubbish on the ground, I pick it up and I give myself a point. And,
You're right.
Yeah, and every time I litter, which is very seldom, in fact, almost never, I lose a point. And everybody has this score in their head.
Good, you have a board with the points.
Yeah, so I'm up at about 500 in Paris at the moment.
I do sometimes on beaches and holidays, with my kids, when I see that the beach is not clean, we clean it, and we show people, nicely. It's not to be arrogant or to be giving lessons to the world, but just it's so nice to be careful and respect, the environment and that everybody takes his own part.
It's like the mayor said on Sunday, vive la respiration.
Vive la respiration, she's right.
Yeah.
Let's be happy, let's share and be respectful. And it was a wonderful Sunday afternoon, with all these people visiting from so many places. There were people from Russia, there were people from Oregon, there were people from Australia, there were some people they said they came from, where was it in Australia? I forgot, I will recall. But there was a city where I went once, not far from the reef.
Oh, Brisbane, perhaps.
Brisbane. They were from Brisbane. Absolutely.
The whole world was here to see this.
Yeah, there were many people. It was wonderful.
If you don't know what we're talking about, I'm going to put some pictures on the website and on the Facebook page.
Yes.
That's Facebook.com/the Eiffel Tower. We'll have some pictures, and maybe I can take some pictures of this room to show them as well. But we've got about 5 minutes left. So before we get into the mad, quick question round at the end, I want to ask you, I've been watching that television program Marseille with Gérard Depardieu about the mayor in Marseille, obviously. Is there as much scandal, sex and violence in Paris as there appears to be in Marseille?
Well, sex, I hope. I would be very sad that you, Australian, would be disappointed that you're in a city where people don't seduce and don't.
So that's happening
give
everywhere,
the best
even in the town hall.
In the town hall, we kind of actually respect, the working hours. So no. It's not a place. It's after work or before work, but not during work.
Right.
No, I'm in favor of really, privacy should be outside of
course.
Public space and in private life, and not at work. And also, no, Paris is a city which is run, as I said, 2001, Bertrand Lanoé elected, he has brought a lot of really, good energy and rules, in the use of public money, and Anne Hidalgo is absolutely a tough cookie on, those issues of honesty, and she's very good.
She's a tough cookie.
She's a very good tough cookie.
Okay, before we get into this quick round, I want to ask you, if you could be the mayor of any other arrondissement, okay?
Yeah.
So let's say tomorrow you had to choose a different district of Paris. Which
I
would
would
you
say
choose?
1, 2, 3, 4.
No,
together.
you can't say that. I'm sorry.
Why not?
You have to pick one.
1? The 21st?
Oh, what does that mean? The whole of Paris?
No, just a new portion of Paris.
Oh.
Maybe one of the Bois.
Oh, really? Do you think that will happen?
No.
I understood that they might be merging 1, 2, 3, 4.
No,
Is that happening?
It's voted, yes.
That's
it's
happening.
voted by the parliament. 1, 2, 3, 4 will become one big, large section.
So there will only be one mayor as well.
One mayor, a man or a woman in 2020.
2020?
Yeah.
Okay. Will you be running for that?
We shall see.
We shall see. We have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note, ready for the 5 quick questions?
Yes.
You can't
I'm
think
stressed.
too long. Yeah, you should be stressed. You ready?
You're stressing me.
Okay, well, I'll tone it down just a little bit. By the way, your English is fantastic. I had to say that on the show. Okay, let's do this. You ready? What is the best cafe in the 4th arrondissement?
Well, Le Peloton.
Le Peloton?
Oh, yes.
Why?
Because I don't think so many people mention it and they're wrong.
I think you're right with that one. Let's
They're
go more
so
to the
chic,
Peloton. Yeah.
and we have to promote them. And I love Café Beaubourg, to be honest.
That's the cafe, the new hipster cafe.
Yes,
thing,
and the people running it are just
yeah.
great and cute.
Great chaps. Great
Yeah.
chaps. There's an endorsement for you boys
Yes.
if you're listening. Okay, and good coffee too from Couture.
Excellent coffee.
Love that coffee.
They always smile, and they love Paris. The way they speak about Paris, the best ambassadors.
Yeah.
I love them.
If you listeners haven't listened to the episode with Le Peloton guys, listen to it now. We'll put a link in for you. But this is the quick round. What's the best hidden secret of the 4th arrondissement?
Aha. It's a passage
Okay.
which I reopened, which was closed
So that's really hidden.
for centuries.
Oh.
When you go around l'église Saint-Gervais church, you used to pass it on Rue François Miron and the stairs, and in front of Mairie du 4e. Now you can get on the south side, and when the gate is open, it's closed at night and until early morning, it's open, you can go around it. So
Okay.
it's very beautiful.
So it's like an outdoor hidden
Well, it was hidden because it was closed.
Yeah, but now anyone
It's
can
open,
just walk
you can
through it.
walk and it's beautiful.
And that's just down that way by the...
Just down one block.
Okay, great tip. And why do you like it?
Passage du gantelet,
Okay.
like a gant.
Glove, like a glove. Why do you like it? Because it was
Because it was hidden and closed. And I like to reopen secrets and tight spots.
Well, now you've given away the secret to the show. Everyone will be there.
Good.
There'll be a hipster cafe there
Yes.
before you know it.
They're not far from it, actually.
Yeah, right. Okay. Okay, question 3. Where's the best street to walk down?
The best street to walk
Street,
down,
yeah.
to be honest, to walk down.
Yeah, to walk down and look around and feel the vibe.
Well, if you walk Rue Saint-Antoine, which goes to Rue de Rivoli, you get the spirit of Paris. There is too much traffic, to be honest.
This is
But-
the street that goes towards
Yes,
Bastille.
to Bastille.
Yeah, yeah.
It's quite nice.
Okay.
But I like Rue François Miron very much.
We can
It's
put
maybe
them
my
together.
favorite because François Miron goes from the City Hall, Église Saint-Javet Church, the City Hall of the 4th District, Maison Européenne de la Photographie, a lot of nice spots, and Hôtel de Beauvais, which is a court.
And that's where we had a guy on, a tour guide, Corey Fry, who recommended that, a tour guide of Paris, as the best secret.
It's
That-
beautiful.
When you go into
Mozart
the
came
courtyard.
to play. Yes.
Oh, really?
Mozart came to play. And Louis XIV, the Sun King, met his wife arriving from Spain there.
Oh, wow. Hang on,
Yes.
we're taking too long on this quick round. We have 2 more questions left, Christophe. Are you ready? What's the best place, and I know you like wine, the best place in the 4th to get a good glass of wine?
Well, you have many, so that would be very unfair
I-
to mention one. But honest, go to Julien.
Julien.
They have great food, a great young chef just
Okay.
arrived.
And you're pointing in a
And,
southeasterly
yes,
direction.
it's actually just not far from l'église and la mairie, and they have delicious wine because they're wine lovers.
And any
But
particular-
there are many other. There's a great shop, a wine shop, on Rue François Miron, right after the salmon restaurant. You have many places, so I don't want to favor one more than the other. But Julien, selection of food, and the young chef cook actually is a great place to go.
Okay, and very last question is, and we have to be quick because we're running out of time, but what is a project that's coming up in the 4th that we can look forward to? Something new, something exciting.
Well, there are actually 2 new gardens coming up.
Oh, wow.
But there is a great project which is really just on my mind right now. Cité Internationale des Arts, the huge building receiving so many artists, more than hundreds in residence, making a huge garden and exhibition place around it, connected actually to Hôtel d'Aumont, Tribunal Administratif, to Memorial de la Shoah, and to Lycée Sophie Germain and the banks.
Great.
So that would be a great place to work on it. I'm working on it with Henri Loiret, former chairman of Le Louvre, and now chairman of the board of Cité Internationale des Arts, which we call CIA, CIA.
CIA in the 4th arrondissement.
Absolutely, that's my
Great.
place.
Okay, Monsieur Le Maire, you did very well.
Thank you
Christophe,
very much.
Thanks for being on the show.
G like Girard.
That's G-Latch, exactly. Brothers in arms. Thank you very much for being on the
Okay,
show.
thank you very much for thinking about me and coming here.
Okay, and everybody who's listening, come and check out Christophe's tips and see this beautiful
Oh,
arrondissement.
great, okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.